I'm Alexis.
And I'm Tiffany, and we're the hosts of Legit KidLit, a video series where we get to see into the secret and silly lives of authors and illustrators.
We love to celebrate and promote books, but most of all, we want to say hey to all you readers out there trying to find that right book for you. We hope that you can find some new reads after today. Today's guest on Legit KidLit is Kit Rosewater, author of the Derby Daredevils. Her second book just came out on September 15th of 2020. So if you love roller derbies and fierce characters, make sure that you go and order your copy after this episode. So let's go ahead and get this party started.
Hi Kit, we are so excited to have you here on Legit KidLit episode 9. Before we dive into all of our burning questions, let's talk about your books. Describe your first book in 5 words.
The 5 words I would use to describe Kenzie Kickstarts a Team is fun, fierce, quirky, female team, I guess. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Loving the alliteration. Why roller derby?
First of all, thank you. I'm always going for the alliteration, and actually a few people have just caught on to this, but the subtitles of the books are alliteration. So it's Kenzie Kickstarts a Team, and then Shelley Struggles to Shine. And book 3, which is coming out next year, is Tomoko Takes the Lead. So I try with my alliteration. Why roller derby? Really, there's 3 reasons for why roller derby. 1, I wanted to write a series about a sport, but I really wanted it to be kind of an offbeat, quirky sport, something that we don't see too much of. Of course, I knew about Roller Girl, and I love Roller Girl. But knowing that I wanted to write a series, an ongoing series with a team going through something, I wanted to pick a sport that I would personally love and be interested in for more than just one book. I also chose roller derby because it's a very inclusive sport, and it's inclusive in many ways. It's inclusive in kind of allowing kids to explore like the queer spectrum of like maybe their identity. So if a kid starts maybe identifying with either maybe a different gender or even like a kind of non-binary identity, that doesn't have anything to do with their ability to stay on the league or in teams. I also did it because of its inclusion of basically any body type, whether you're tall, short, heavier, really light. You can play roller derby and you can be a rock star at roller derby, and that was also really, really important to me. And the third reason why roller derby is because I was living in downtown Austin at the time, and I knew I wanted to set my books in Austin, and I thought, what would be a really good kind of activity to set here. And of course, roller derby, it was huge in the 70s, but then it kind of went away and resurfaced, I believe in the year 2000, 2001, in Austin, Texas. And that's really where it got its feminist and like super fierce and rough and awesome and empowering reputation that it has today. So all of those things just went together perfectly.
What do you want readers to leave with after reading your books?
I hope readers leave with, first of all, readers can leave with anything they want to. My biggest hope is that they leave with, having fun or having fun, read the books, having an appreciation for it, because books, just like any kind of form of entertainment, it's supposed to be there to please, maybe to have a little bit of escapism. It's always really not fun when reading feels like a chore, and so I hope these never feel like that to any of my readers. I have heard from some families who talk about how their kids have gotten an introduction to some new terms and themes that they haven't seen before in books, and that makes me really happy because I'm being told that the Derby Daredevils are a really great introduction to learn what the word transgender means. In book 2, you can learn what it means to be non-binary in just this really kind of small way when we meet one of the side characters. And it's also a lot of readers' first introduction to, crushes where you might have a crush on somebody of the opposite gender or someone of the same gender. Not a big deal. So that's a really cool thing for readers to take away. But again, most of all, I just hope that they have a good time, and maybe they take away wanting to try something new from the books, maybe roller skating, something else. But I hope that they feel like whatever they want to go out there and try, it's okay to fall as long as they get back up and keep going, keep trying.
All right, viewers, go ahead and push that pause button and order those books through Kit's website, kitrosewater.com. We will wait for you. All right, welcome back. So, Kit, are you ready?
I am as ready as I will ever be.
We want to know your most cringe-worthy middle school moment.
All right, get ready because this one is a doozy. I won't give you the super, super long story, but let me just say all the things that combined. Most cringy middle school moment for me, 7th grade, our school, our grade's first several overnight camping trip. I got my first kiss on the second day of that trip, and it was not a good one. I basically ended up, I don't think I cried, but I think I kind of like yelled like a warrior woman and pushed the guy away and ran down the hill. And I had to spend another 4 days with him at my campsite. And then when I got down at the bottom of the hill and climbed into my tent and was just planning on hibernating for the rest of the time, I found out I got my very first period of all time. So yeah, that was definitely my most traumatic and I would say cringe-worthy trip experience of my middle grade career.
So many firsts to have to go through at one time. Wow. But you survived.
Oh yeah, I survived. That's the whole point of middle school. I think of it a lot like a boot camp. It's all about survival and just making it forward, and everything is kind of testing your mettle and making you a stronger person. So middle school is really, really hard, but it is doing a good job of kind of getting you ready and strong and learning those life lessons early on.
What is your guilty pleasure?
I have had the same guilty pleasure since college, undergrad, so for 10 years now. My guilty pleasure is eating absolute junk while watching gourmet cooking shows on the internet. So when I was in college, this meant that I just inhaled hot Cheetos while watching just delicious videos of kind of spicy goodness and pretending like I was eating that, but eating hot Cheetos, which were also in my mind like delicious spicy goodness, so it worked out. These days, I can't do hot Cheetos anymore, but I end up inhaling trail mix while watching like Great British Bake Off, so same thing.
Our viewers love pets. What kind of pet do you have, and can we get a glimpse?
I have a dog, and her name is Sadie, and this is your glimpse of Sadie. Sadie usually likes to sleep, Sadie likes to sleep on the couch in my office, which I'm in my office right now when I'm working, but I have decided to pull her up here. She's very confused because she's a border collie, so she's like, I'm not a lap dog, Mom. But yeah, this is Sadie, and I love her. She's just the best office mate ever.
She's adorable. We heard that you have a knack for finding characters in the clouds and in hot Cheetos. So, what other writing quirks do you have?
I think my biggest writing quirk is one I learned from when I was a little kid, and it's just that it's totally okay to kind of gaze into nothing and daydream and think and let thoughts stew. And I know that a lot of writer friends of mine only reserve their kind of like hardcore thinking about what will happen next in their stories for when they're sitting down at their notebooks or their computers. And I'd say my biggest writing quirk is that I do find characters in clouds and hot Cheetos, and there's textured ceiling plaster, and so I like to gaze up at that. But basically I think about my characters a lot when I'm not at my desk at all. And then that really helps because then when I sit down at my desk to work, I kind of prefer to stare off into space rather than stare at a screen. So it's nice that by the time I'm at my computer, I can just go, 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 go. But I daydream about my characters and my stories a lot in other aspects of my life.
All right, so in Daredevils, you feature some food. Can you share something that features in your books?
Yes, I would love to. If I had all the ingredients here, I would be making it myself, but with times being the way they are, we don't have all the ingredients in the house. So here's what I have as kind of like a little recipe. It's very, very easy if you like popcorn, and it's just basically popcorn and different seasonings on it. So here's my recipe. It's for 2 different types of popcorn. There is salt and vinegar popcorn. All you do is air pop popcorn, either in an air popper or like on the stove with oil. Safflower oil is really good because it's for high heat, so it's really good for popcorn when you're like making kernels hot. And then all you do is you put a little bit of like a tiny drizzle of butter or oil so it sticks, and then you put some malt powder and it's vinegar malt powder, and then some kosher salt, and that is sea salt or salt and vinegar popcorn, which is a lot like salt and vinegar chips. I personally love. Then the other recipe is for birthday cake popcorn, and that is just, again, you just pop the regular popcorn, and then this time you melt white chocolate, so good, drizzle it over your batch of popcorn. It's probably good to like lay it out on like a cookie sheet with some parchment paper, and then drizzle the white chocolate over, and then put some like chunky sprinkles and kind of like shake that up, get that all through it. So you have salt and vinegar popcorn, birthday cake popcorn, and if you want to be super adventurous, you can grab a handful of each, or just kind of dip your hand in each and put them together. I call it sour birthday popcorn, and that was actually the inspiration behind the sour birthday popsicles that are Kenzie and Shelly's favorite snack. Admittedly, I've never actually had a sour birthday popsicle, but I do, not often, but on special occasions, have sour birthday popcorn. And so that was the inspiration behind that snack in the books.
My mouth is watering. I love salt and vinegar, and I love birthday cake.
Speaking of food, run to your fridge, open it up, no cleaning, and show us what's in there.
Oh gosh, okay, you asked for it. Here we go on an adventure. We're going to the fridge. Now, I didn't clean it ahead of time, but I might have made a special little message on my baby's word wall. Okay, here we go. So of course you gotta have your Chinese leftovers. We love cheese in this house. We don't understand how to go through our broccoli sprouts without getting another one. We love our tofu. We've got our pre-made stuff. We have something called Topo Chico, which is really, really popular in Austin. Eggs, some muffins, and yeah. That's about it.
Is there a word that you frequently mispronounce or a phrase you often say incorrectly?
Yes, there's a word. Well, I turned and I actually asked my partner this because I wanted to know what he thought. And this is not my fault, I have to say. I don't think that this is a mistake. It's just an accent. So I was a theater teacher, and a lot of kids, it kind of blows their minds to learn that there is an American accent. It's a very specific accent. It's not a lack of an accent. And one thing that, and of course there's different accents in America, but one very typical thing we do is swallow our consonants. And just because I'm aware of this doesn't mean I don't do it. So the word I'm going to give you is breakfast, which I apparently say breakfast. And that's apparently my mom says it, and I say breakfast. So there's my word.
Would you rather have skin color that changes based on your emotions, or tattoos that appear on your body depicting what you did the day before? Talk about wearing your heart on your sleeve.
You know, I think I'm gonna have to go with the tattoos. I do, like tattoos a lot. I don't have that many, but I do have some. And I actually think it would be really fun to have some tattoos of what I did the day before, just because every day I'm spending is with my daughter. So, I could get some cool images of her spitting up all over me and her laughing and her trying to roll over. I think it'd be pretty fun.
We are nearing the end of our episode, but we'd like one more thing from you, Kit. Do you think you could give us a quick drawing lesson that goes along with the art theme of book 2?
I would love to. So in book 2, which we can see Shelley, drawing all over the cover, which I love, there is a moment where Shelley does squiggle exercises in classes. And I know that squiggle exercises are usually done for like the younger ages. I was obsessed with them when I was in 2nd grade. But I actually think squiggle exercises are really, really important the older we get, because it teaches us to think outside the box. So I printed out this little squiggle that I'm going to work with. And it's a really tricky one because it's got round bits, it's got kind of like this straight line here, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with that? And so one typical, it's not a mistake, but when we look at a squiggle, most of the time we see like one object in it. And so one thing I'm going to challenge you to do if you're ever working on art stuff in the future is to try to see a squiggle or kind of a piece, the starting bit of art, as a full picture rather than just an object. Start thinking about like adding depth to your work. So maybe when we look at this, we don't see one object poking out, but maybe we see several different things. So this isn't the most imaginative of me, but let's just say that I see this little kind of loop-de-loop right here, and I see it as a balloon. And I want tons of balloons over here. Yeah, I want one of those things where someone, maybe not as crazy as Up, Pixar's Up, but let's just say I want somebody carrying like a ton of balloons. And like maybe they're going to a party or a fair, maybe they're gonna pass these balloons out. We need tons of like little strings below. And yeah, so now we have our balloons. And you can see we've kind of disguised the other bits a little bit more. But I want to put more depth into this. And so clearly those balloons are in the background, right? Maybe I'll just do a stick figure for now, but maybe some guys holding the balloons and, walking away. He's in the background. He seems happy with his balloons. And there he is in the background. But I got to deal with that sharp edge. So I actually want that to be in the foreground. So background means far away. Foreground means up close. And because it is a kind of sharp edge object as it is, I'm deciding I want that to be a book. So we're going to look like that. We have this book in the foreground, this guy in the background, and I only have pink and maroon. So I guess the hand is also going to be pink, but I'm going to draw a hand holding the book. So, well, just like with skating, with anything else really, you have to be okay with some mess ups. So that was a really quick hand, and the thumb did not go well the first time. But now it looks like someone up close is holding a book up to like a scene going on in the background. And we still have to deal with one more like little squiggly line as part of our squiggle. So let's just kind of put them like on a grassy hilltop. Maybe they're at the park. So I had to do this exercise with the series illustrator, Sophia Escabas, who is an extremely talented artist. And basically, this is what, I had a full marker set and I had like 10 minutes to work. So this is what I made with it. And, the only thing to take away from it is that when you see a squiggle, to see a full picture, so this is actually, it's a party, it's for the book launch. So here are clouds, here's confetti, there's a little balloon that flew way, way, way. These are cones, which specifically take place in the second book. And then, of course, here's the cover of the second book. And my hand, holding the book out, being like, yay, congratulations. And nobody's holding the balloons, so they're all about to go away. But yeah, that's my art lesson.
That is so much fun. Do you just find the squiggle, like you just make the squiggles on your own, or how do you get the squiggles? Just randomly do it?
So for these worksheets, what I ended up doing was I went into Word, and there's just like a little scroll function, and I just made like a little loop-de-loop, and that was that. And then I printed them out as little PDFs. I think that it's the most fun when you go up to somebody else and you say, make a squiggle for me, just do something random on my paper. Because then you really challenge yourself. Whereas sometimes when we do a squiggle for ourselves, we kind of inadvertently start making the picture we want to draw. I think it's also really fun when squiggles have like different consistencies in it. Like maybe you'll do a couple hard lines and then a soft line. And then again, that really challenges us to kind of like break up the shapes we see in any kind of picture we look at. And by any picture we look at, I just mean when we look around anywhere. There's tons of shapes in there, so.
I love it. This has been a fantastic interview, and this will be a great episode. So thank you so much for spending time with us today, Kit. Is there anything else you would like to add? Are you doing any virtual visits this school year? And if so, how can teachers find you?
Thank you so much for having me on this interview. I've enjoyed it so much. Just again, want to reiterate that books 1 and 2 are out, in online stores and on shelves now. And book 3, which is called Tomoko Takes the Lead, will be out in June of 2021. I am doing virtual class visits, and the best way to get a hold of me to set that up is through my contact form on my website, which is kitrosewater.com. And all you do is just write me a note, maybe say what school you're at. I'm not charging for virtual visits at all. I just want to help out and get out there. I'm happy to do a little bit of Q&A or even kind of like a short presentation. You can look over, I've got a page on my website that says visits. I believe it's on news and events, and it's a little subtab that says visits. And if you look at that, you can kind of see all the stuff that I'm able to chat about regarding writing and the Derby Daredevils series.
Well, thank you so much for doing virtual visits, because I bet the kids are going to eat that up and they're going to enjoy talking to you. So I hope you get some out of this episode.
To all our wonderful readers, we hope you enjoyed our show and are inspired now to pick up some new and exciting books.
And we'll be back next week with a new special guest and some crazy new fun. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Tiffany, and we're signing out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.